A very good evening to you, Zimbabwe. You are tuned into TellZim News Weekly Podcast. My name is Tabiso Numalo and I'm your host. Today's topic is voter registration. Where are we? With me in the studio to discuss this is Mr. Puturai Zirapata Zex, who is from Zimbabwe Electoral Commission. He's the provincial officer for Masvingo province. And we also have Mr. Takunda Tunga from Election Resource Center, ERC. He's the legal and advocacy officer there. And gentlemen, good evening and welcome to today's show. First question of the day. Are 8 registration centers enough for Masvingo province?
Maneraganaka tiri register pa every district, saka every district registration center kozoya pa province registration center. Saka Masvingo province tine 8 registration centers that will classify as static registration centers. So we've got those 8 every district, the 7 districts each is a registration center, then province by registration center. Munachuya ku register, there are certain requirements which we must outline for the benefit of our listeners. We're saying every registrant anouya nechitupa chake ne proof of residence. Ndichazotsanangura kumberi what we really mean by proof of residence. Ndezvipi zvatingashandisa is proof of residence.
Thank you so much. And Mr. Poturai, is proof of residence necessary for one to register? And if yes, what documents are required?
Thank you. On the issue of proof of residence, mind you, we have adopted a new system whereby that is the system which we used last time, whereby a voter is given a particular polling station which is within his area of residence. So now we're saying you can use various proof of residence, like you can use maybe a letter from the landlord. You can use some letters from various credit stores. And if you don't have those particular letters, at the registration centers, we've got commissioners of votes or provincial or district elections officers, for example, they are the commissioner of votes, and also several other senior officers in ZIKE, they are commissioners of votes. So we're saying if you go there without those outlined proof of residence, you can actually go there straight with your ID, and those commissioners are going to assist you so that you can actually register. So the whole essence is you must be given a particular polling station near to where you stay, so that you are going to be given a polling station where you are going to vote. So it's like your name only appears at one particular polling station. So it's now polling station based type of voters or type of voting, where your name only appears on one particular polling station. So this is the reason why we want this issue of proof of residence. So we're saying from that proof of residence, one can see that this individual stays near to this particular polling station. So you're going to be actually assigned to that particular polling station.
This one is for you, Mr. Takunda Tunga. As ERC, what trends have you so far picked on voter registration?
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for having me on your platform. It's a good initiative which needs to be done more often, where people speak on issues around voter registration. And I think just to remind everyone, my name is Takunda Tunga and I'm at the Election Resource Center. Thank you, Ngumalo, for your question. I think in terms of the trends that ERC has picked up in terms of voter registration, is that the conventional methods of engaging citizens, the conventional methods of mobilizing citizens to register to vote have become outdated, if I may put it. We need to find ways in which we can engage the youth in their spheres of influence to show them the importance around voter registration. So we as ERC, we have taken it upon ourselves to use platforms around the entertainment industry, because the entertainment industry is one of the fastest growing industries in the world. So finding ways in which you can create synergies around entertainment and civic duties of civic duties in terms of voter registration. So these are the trends that we have picked up as ERC, that the Electoral Commission should get out of its comfort zone in terms of engaging citizens and mobilizing citizens to register to vote. And as civil society, we should also get out of our comfort zones, where we should find ways in which we can engage citizens, especially the youth, in platforms that they are comfortable with, in platforms that they are used to in terms of voter registration. So currently we are witnessing a growing trend, if I may say, in terms of the importance of social media. So the Electoral Commission should be finding ways in which they can harness social media to their advantage to be able to engage with the youth to register to vote. And these are the trends that we've picked up so far. And I think just to finalize this issue, one of the biggest trends that we've picked up in terms of voter registration is around the distance or the inconvenience that it takes to register to vote. Citizens are forced to travel 10, 15, 20 Ks in urban areas. In rural areas, the distance is extended to over 100 Ks where they have to travel to register to vote. So the trend that we have picked up is that voter registration must be made accessible to all citizens at all times, and this entails decentralizing the registration process to be more accessible to citizens at all times.
Thank you so much for your input, Mr. Takunda. And also, compared to previous elections, how is the momentum in terms of voter registration?
I think directly answering this question, the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission in 2018 had set a target of 7 million people to register to vote. And we could attribute a bit of success to the commission itself, as they managed to register approximately 5 million citizens to register to vote. However, following the 2018 elections, what we have witnessed has been a low level of voter registration. There's been a low drive towards voter registration. Electoral stakeholders have been a bit reluctant, they've been a bit nonchalant in their approach towards voter registration. And this has culminated in low registration figures. According to a ZIKE report in 2019, only 1,444 citizens registered to vote nationally over a period of 12 months, which is a concerning figure, because in that same period, about 1 million youths turned 18 and were eligible to register to vote. So the numbers remain low. However, in terms of momentum, I think through the work of civil society and citizens themselves in terms of engaging in issues around voter registration, there has been a slowly but surely building up of momentum towards voter registration, and we can only look at the positives in which we can work on towards building up a more, if I may say, more concrete momentum towards voter registration as we head towards 2023, because as the ZIKE official on this platform can attest to, the numbers are increasing. The numbers may not be as comprehensive as we want to, but they are increasing, and it takes us as citizens to engage each other on issues around voter registration. It takes us as citizens to engage our families, our friends, those around our circles in issues around voter registration and the importance of voter registration. So the momentum towards voter registration can only be achieved through the citizens themselves, through engaging on issues around voter registration, because a momentum towards comprehensive voter registration cannot be achieved without citizen participation. The citizen are the ones who should be building up the momentum for voter registration, as they are the primary beneficiaries of elections in Zimbabwe.
Thank you so much. And Mr. Puturai, as a way of complementing stationary voter registration, when do you intend to do mobile voter registration?
Currently, we're planning to do delimitation. We've done the first stages of delimitation, what we term pre-delimitation activities, whereby we tried to match our particular polling areas with our enumeration areas, because when you wanted to use statistics information to come up with our polling stations. So we've done that delimitation activities. But soon, I think early next year, somewhere there, we're going to start to. But before we go into delimitation, the very first thing which we have to do is we have to do voter registration, because the information which we use to delimit constituencies or wards is based on the number of registrants. So the number of registrants, they determine the size of a constituent. So we have first to have registrants first before we delimit. So we're going to have a very extensive process. We're going to enter into various communities to do our voter registration. So we'll let you know when we're going to start that exercise. But soon we're going to start to do the voter education pertaining to voter registration as well as delimitation.
This one is directed to the both of you gentlemen. Do you think there is enough information in terms of voter registration process to citizens, and what measures are you taking to enhance access to voter registration, especially in remote areas?
Yeah, we're trying by all means to disseminate that information to all our stakeholders as well as to all the citizens. We're saying people who are to register now are those who have attained the age of 18 years. Mind you, already those who registered in 2018 using our biometric voter registration system, already we have them. So they can simply check their names on online or on the ZIKE website, that is an BVR inspection. They just log in ZIKE website, they can check their names, or online they can check on BVR inspection. The moment they just type BVR inspection, they can actually follow the instructions, they can get their names. So our issue now is only to those who have attained 18 years. These are the guys whom we want to capture, or those people who want to transfer from one particular ward or constituent to another. So, but mind you, like what my partner said, ERC, colleague of mine, he said, we've registered more than 5.6 million in the BVR registration system. But now, right attain the 18 years, ndo vanhu captured now. Ndo vetinga tichitevera tichinoregister tichidaro. So kuti vanamboita was saying tichaita mobile voter registration system, tisati taita delimitation, tichaenda kose all the particular constituencies zedu dzose, all the wards, all the particular villages, tinga tiri kuti voter registration. But as of now, it's a static registration system. Pavanoenda pamasenders aya nambotaura aya.
Thank you so much, Mr. Puturai, and over to you, Mr. Takunda.
Tinotenda nemubvunzo wakandwa panapa nenyaya yekushanda nevanhu vari kumaruzevha. Se-ERC isusu zvatiri kuita tiri kuedza kushanda newatinoti maproject champion vari kumaruzevha. So zvamunoita izvi kuti munofona panhamba dze-ERC toll free number 08080219 moisa zita renyu pasi kuti toda kushanda ne-ERC panhau dzevoter registration, and isusu tinobva tamuudzai zvatinenge tichida kuti imimi muno organize, munounganidza vanhu kuti tiri kuenda kunoregister kuti kuvhota. Isusu se-ERC tinomupaiwo mapepa, tinomupai information inenge ichidiwa kuti vanhu vaverenge panhau dzevoter registration, and tikadaro tinobva tasvitsa kuvanhu vari kumaruzevha, because isusu se-ERC zvatakaona izvi kuti hatinawo yatingati capacity yekusvika kumaruzevha ese arimo muzimbabwe munomu. Saka tiri kushanda nevanhu vari kumaruzevha ikokoko panhau dzevoter registration. So sevanhu vari kumaruzevha imimi munofanirwa tibatsirawo seERC tinenge tichitokumbirawo rubatsiro kuti mufone pa toll free number yedu 08080219 muise zita renyu pasi kuti muda kubatsira panyaya dzevoter registration, and once maisa zita renyu pasi pavoter registration munotumirwa information yevoter registration, and then tinoona kuti tinoshanda sei tese panhau dzevoter registration. Munenge muchitiunganidzira vanhu muchitibatsira kutitsvagira vanhu ivavawo vanenge vachienda kunozoregister kunovhota. Munenge muchitiobzevhera kunzvimbo dzamunenge muri muchiona kuti zviri kufamba sei mumaarea dzamunenge muri, munzvimbo dzamunenge muri. So ndo nhau yandingamuudzai panyaya yevoter registration kuti munenge muchishanda sei nevanhu ikokoko muchibatsirawo futi ERC.
Thank you so much. And Mr. Poturai, there have been talks in the media about ZIKE, which may in turn cause voter apathy. What are you doing as ZIKE to restore that confidence and goodwill with the general electorate?
I think ZIKE tiri kusangana nemapolitical parties last week swa 29 September takasangana nemapolitical parties ose mumasvingo saka handikazivi zvangu zvokutaura but with all the political parties. Chero mukanzwa statement yakataurwa nachairperson neyakataurwa naZIKE CEO, there is inclusion of all political parties. Saka kutaura kwacho handikazivi kuti ndekwechii, but as ZIKE we engage all stakeholders dzedu dzetinga tinadzo muprovince. This month tinoengage futi all stakeholders in terms of maCSOs vachange vachidaro. Tinoengage mastakeholders edu ose akasiyana-siyana, but nenyaya yecovid hatingakwanisi kuita mabig gatherings. Tinoita namba inenge ichiwirirana nemaconditions anodiwa eZIKE ecovid. Saka muchaona kuti pamwe pamapolitical parties tinga tichitora kana kuti 1 kana 2, but in this case takatora vari vaviri for every political party yanga iri muno yakauya ikaparticipata. KumaCSOs again tichaona neuwando hwavo, tinotora futi namba inenge ichiwirirana nemacovid guidelines petinga tichiitira musangano wacho.
And there have also been reports of some citizens failing to acquire IT documents that in turn enable them to register. So what measures have you taken as ZIKE and ERC?
Yeah, on the issue of people failing to acquire IDs, I think it's a question which is really best answered by RG department. But now, as ZIKE, we've seen RG department actually participating in this activity in Bikita, and we also accompany them during that exercise whereby they were issuing some IDs to various citizens in Bikita, and our team was also there actually issuing some doing some voter registration. So, but as I've said initially, it's better. I know this question is better attended to by RG than ZIKE or ERC. So we try to work hand in hand, encouraging each other, maybe on the particular issue.
And Mr. Takunda.
Thank you for your question. In terms of accessibility to ID documents, this has been an issue which has affected voter registration, especially in Masvingo, Manicaland, and the Matabeleland regions, where we have witnessed that we have large communities that don't have access to identity documents, where we have witnessed that we have a number of youths who have not been able to access their identity documents. And as the ERC, we have engaged with the district registrar in Masvingo, we've engaged with the district registrar in Bulawayo, Matobo, and Mutare, where we have called upon them to decentralize the registration process. So we hope as the ERC that the Registrar General will decentralize the registration process And it's an even bigger hope that the Registrar General will work with the Electoral Commission to ensure that a voter registration center is availed to every center where identity documents are being given, so that youths are able to apply and get an identity document and then immediately register to vote. So that is the hope, or that is the dream that the ERC has.
And Mr. Takunda, how effective is the shuttle system? Have you ever thought of engaging ZIKE so that instead of using the shuttle, probably traveling long distances to registration centers, ZIKE might go with you to where people will be and do the registration there?
We have constantly engaged with the Electoral Commission at the national level, where we have asked ZIKE to partner with us in terms of our activities to register to vote. However, there's been a bit of reluctance from the Commission itself, where they have not been as open to assist or participate in the programs of the ERC. We have tried to engage ZIKE in availing voter registration via the shuttle service to students at universities. We have tried to engage with ZIKE to address some voter registration in rural areas where we were offering to provide shuttle service plus on the ground mobilization with ZIKE, in partnership with ZIKE, and in rural areas. But however, there's been a bit of reluctance in terms of engagement with the Electoral Commission, and as the ERC, the engagements are ongoing. I would not say, or I will be wrong to say that the Electoral Commission does not want to engage with stakeholders in terms of voter registration. They have been very open in their approach to listening to propositions in terms of voter registration. However, we have not been able to secure the Electoral Commission in terms of specific activities. However, these engagements are ongoing. We as the ERC will hope that wherever a shuttle service is availed, the Electoral Commission will avail of voter registration centers to these communities. So be it taenda kuzaka, be it taenda kuchivi, we hope that the Electoral Commission will partner with electoral stakeholders, be it the ERC or be it any other partner, where they will go with mobile voter registration centers to these communities, be it for 1 weekend, where they go to Chivi for 1 weekend, where they go to Chirezi for 1 weekend, where they go to the rural areas and avail of voter registration center to places where the registration centers are not accessible. So this is what we hope to achieve with the Electoral Commission. So we will continue to engage with the Commission in issues relating to this.
Mr. Pudurai, voting is for everyone above the age of 18, but there are people who are facing some challenges. For example, what are you doing about it? You cannot walk to any registration center.
On the issue of people living with disabilities, in terms of can they access registration centers in towns, if we are given that information, where actually the people be actually are assembled, as a ZIKE, we can make arrangements to go and register them in those particular places. It's not a challenge to us. We can actually take that particular task.
Thank you so much, Mr. Puturai and Mr. Takunda, for your time. Until next time, stay blessed.